I decided to simulate a war between all the states for land to see who would win. The rules are simple. There is 5 sections in each round. In one of those sections, a random state is selected, and it can choose to attack one of its neighboring states that it shares a border with. For instance, Wyoming could attack Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Nebraska, and South Dakota. Then, once it's picked, we see who wins. If it loses, let's say it attacked Nebraska. If it loses, Nebraska takes South Dakota. If it wins, South Dakota expands into Nebraska. This will keep going until 5 sections, and that will end a round, in which case one of the states that has completely been wiped out, for let's say Illinois was just off the map, one of them gets to come back and try and reclaim a random state. Let's see who wins. Immediately kicking this off, West Virginia decides to attack the meme state, Ohio, and since nothing good ever happens there, it's an easy victory, expanding West Virginia's border. Nevada, being inspired by West Virginia's victory, decides to attack Idaho, and since potatoes aren't very good weapons, Idaho sadly loses. Washington, seeing Nevada is now weak on resources, decides to go on the offensive, and easily conquers, expanding their land incredible amounts. Michigan goes on the offensive, attacking the newly expanded West Virginia, and conquers it. Oregon, trying to break into the big leagues, attacks Washington. After many years of fighting, a stalemate has occurred and it ends in a draw. Oh, this just in the distraction of chaos in the West Coast, Idaho has formed a rebellion and sneak attacked Colorado. Kansas, seeing Idaho as a threat to its borders, decides to attack it in its infancy, but Idaho won't give up this time, and it ends in a draw. Tennessee, trying to expand to the sea, attacks North Carolina, and eventually conquers it. Arkansas, seeing this as an opportunity to get more land, attacks Tennessee, and wins. Illinois, wanting to get in on the action, attacks Iowa, but for Illinois, it wasn't very Illinois, and Iowa rebukes and takes over Illinois. Arkansas, wanting to stop Iowa from taking any more land that border it, steals Mississippi out from under it. But a few survivors from Illinois has survived the massacre of Iowa and decide to flee to the West Coast, taking over Montana. North Dakota, not liking the newcomer, decides to try and attack Illinois, but Illinois will not stand for this and overthrows North Dakota. Texas, feeling a little bit tropical, decides to go to Hawaii, but the guns on their ships weren't bigger, even though everything's bigger in Texas, and Hawaii takes their ship, sails them back to Texas, and conquers the entire state. Arkansas, wanting to expand even more, decides to go for Kansas, though they got greedy, and Kansas overtakes them, becoming by far the largest state yet. Oregon, being almost completely cornered by Washington, decides to go big or go home, and let's say they didn't go home. Kansas, being the absolute powerhouse that it is, decides it wants some fried chicken and easily overthrows Kentucky. But a few survivors from Washington that had survived the Great Massacre of the West Coast made it all the way to the East Coast and overthrew Michigan. This is our final round, and we are going to see what the map looks like after a war. Oklahoma tries to use its tiny strip of land to attack New Mexico, but because they have such a small access, it ended in a draw. And it also ended in a draw when Kansas decided to attack Nebraska for some reason. I don't know what they were thinking. And it also ended in a draw when California decided to attack Oregon. I don't really think the states want to fight anymore. This is where we end it. This is the true map of the United States. Thank you for watching.